I posted 200 shorts on my channel, and most of them completely flopped. But out of all the shorts I uploaded, there are actually two that stood out the most. The first was my worst performing short, and the second was my best performing short. This is my channel, Stay Focused. It's built primarily on film philosophy, villain reframing, dark psychology, and identity tension. This is the niche of the channel. When I first posted this short, I didn't expect much of it. I knew it had potential to grow, but I had no idea where it was about to go next. First, it hit 5K views in a couple of days, and then it just kept climbing. 10,000 views, 50,000 views, 100,000 views, and today it's sitting at almost 500,000 views. But only a few months later, in January of this year, I posted a different type of short, and the results were staggering. Same year, same channel, same strategy, and it barely crossed over 1,000 views. These two videos changed how I understand YouTube. Before I show you both shorts, we'll need some kind of criteria to judge their performance. Not off opinions, but off metrics. So here are the 5 criteria used to measure the performance of these shorts. 1. Hook strength. 2. Topic clarity. 3. Emotional trigger. 4. Swipe rate. And 5. Stay rate. We'll look at each of these metrics carefully for both videos and rate each one at the end of the breakdown. Now, quick note, before anyone tries to replicate the strategies using movie clips or podcast clips, make sure you understand YouTube's reuse content policies. These videos are reframed, edited, and structured to add transformation.
How do you create value? People talk about the word value. They're like, provide value. It's like, what the fuck does that mean?
When I uploaded this short, I was sure it would do good. The topic was strong, and Alex Hormozi is well known. Strong speaker, clear message, clean edit, but it barely crossed 1,000 views. But what makes this interesting isn't that it flopped. It's that only a few months prior, I posted a completely different short that went on to hit 500,000 views. Now, I gotta be honest, when I look at this short today, even when seeing that it underperformed, I still feel this short should have performed well. So why did this short underperform? Let's go over the first metric, the hook. Before we begin judging the hook of this short, it's important that we understand what a hook is. A hook is the first few seconds of your video that makes someone decide whether to keep watching or to swipe away. That's it. To make it simple, it answers one question the viewer is thinking. Is this worth my time? If the hook doesn't stop the scroll, nothing else matters. You could have the best content in the world, but if nobody stays past the first 3 seconds, YouTube doesn't push the video. Now, most creators think the hook is only the first 3 seconds, which is somewhat true, but there's actually a lot more that goes into a hook than just your intro. The real hook starts before someone even presses play. On YouTube Shorts, the hook is going to include your thumbnail, your title, your on-screen text, your opening visual, and your first spoken line or action. So what does a strong hook usually do? Well, a strong hook usually does one of the following. It creates curiosity or triggers an emotion. It makes a bold claim. It changes a belief. It shows something unexpected, or it makes a promise. So now that we know what a hook is and what a hook does, let's go back to the first 3 seconds of the video and analyze the title, the on-screen text, and the opening line to see if the hook is strong or not. The title of the video is Value Isn't What You Think It Is. And that's just too vague of a title, and therefore doesn't have clarity of the topic discussed in the video, which is why we'll talk more about this in metric 2.
How do you create value? People talk about the word value. They're like, provide value.
Now, this isn't the worst hook or opening line ever, but it's also not the strongest. It's a little slow, it's conversational, it's reflective. And these things aren't bad in and of themselves, but when someone's scrolling through shorts, that's not going to be enough to stop them. What's more likely to stop someone from scrolling is if there's tension, challenge, drama. This short comes across as more educational, business related, podcast style. And that's a lot different than, get ready for this, something's about to go down. The same truth is applied to both the title and the on-screen text. They're not exactly terrible, but they explain a concept, not trigger a specific emotion, which is why we'll get more specific about it in metric 3. So I'm going to give the hook for this short a rating of 2.5 out of 5. Retention wasn't actually the problem of this short because it has an average view duration of 32 seconds and a gradual decline, not where it's a catastrophic early cliff or early drop-off, which means the people who watched it mostly stayed. So the middle and ending of the video weren't the issue. So the real problem is not enough people chose to watch it in the first place, which is absolutely going to be a hook issue, not a content issue. Metric 2, topic clarity. How clear is the subject or topic of this video? Now, if you know Alex Hormozi, you'll probably have a more general idea of what he talks about, but for someone who doesn't know who Alex Hormozi is, the topic may not be immediately clear to the viewer, and therefore doesn't trigger curiosity. If the audience is swiping or deciding to stay within the first 3 to 4 seconds of your video, then the short needs to quickly communicate what it is the audience or or viewer will be watching. If the viewer had to guess on the topic at hand, the answer is not so clear. Is it about making money? Is it about improving business strategy? Is it about self-improvement in general? The answer is slightly blurred. Shorts that scale usually have hyper-clear positioning. Examples would be how to grow your business or learn these skills in sales. So the title, value isn't what you think it is, along with the hook, the first few seconds, and the on-screen text, why success today is easy, there's simply not enough topic clarity here. Topic clarity will also get a rating of 2 out of 5. Metric 3, emotional trigger. Now, emotional trigger is just what it sounds like. It's something within the first few seconds of the video that triggers an emotion. It's the feeling a video creates that makes someone care enough to keep watching. The strongest performing videos on my channel will usually create an emotional trigger by challenging identities, reframing certain societal beliefs, and exposing hidden truths. And there's several reasons why these actually worked, because they can make people feel exposed, they can create philosophical tension, and they could create arguments and disagreements in the comments. Now, just so you understand, and for me to clarify, this isn't the same thing as rage bait, clickbait, or just straight up lying in the video titles about what someone's watching. That's not the emotional trigger we're talking about. But this short doesn't have any of those things I mentioned as emotional triggers. Instead, it feels more informative, non-threatening. Now, of course, Alex Hormozi content can absolutely go viral, but in the right context and matter of execution. To prove this is true, let's look at some of the emotional triggers Alex's videos include in the title. Give me 20 minutes and I'll give you back 20 years of your life. You're wasting 80% of your time. Here's how to fix it. These are perfect emotional triggers. Now go back to mine and it just comes off as let's define value. That doesn't trigger emotion. We'll rate emotional trigger for this video a 2 out of 5. Metric 4 and 5, swipe rate versus stay rate. This is the real killer. Swipe rate measures how many people chose to stay when the video appeared in their feed versus how many people instantly moved on. 33.8% of viewers stayed to watch, 66.2% swiped away. What this means is that 2 out of every 3 people who saw this short swiped away. And on shorts, that's everything. It's not about whether the content is good. It's about whether the first few seconds are strong enough to draw attention. Now, the people who did watch this video and actually stayed, retention was solid, but YouTube won't expand videos that most people reject in the first few seconds. Shorts are tested in small batches. If too many people swipe early, the algorithm stops pushing it. And that's exactly what happened here. This video wasn't bad, it just didn't win the psychological battle. It didn't create enough immediate attention to beat the scroll. On shorts, the first impression is the entire impression. Retention keeps a video alive. Swipe rate determines if it gets to breathe. Because the swipe rate is 33%, which is slightly below the threshold for expansion, but has a strong retention ratio of 83.5%, I'm going to rate metrics 4 and 5 a solid 2 out of 5. Lastly, I'm going to throw in one final factor that made this short the worst performer on my channel. This is honestly probably the biggest reason, and that's going to be channel context. And this is an underrated factor. Now, my specific channel audience is used to seeing philosophical villain breakdowns, identity challenges, emotional reframes, dark tension. But with this short, it suddenly shifted to business podcast clip. Different kind of energy, different audience psychology. The algorithm likely tested it against my normal viewer pool and they didn't respond, so it died early. Now, the key insight is that this short didn't fail because it was bad. It failed because it didn't create enough immediate emotion to beat the scroll, and it didn't match the dominant psychology of my channel audience. So why was retention still good? Because the people who do like Alex Hormozi and business content stayed. So even though this short didn't perform like I thought it would, it taught me something valuable. You can check every box technically and still fail if you don't win the first psychological battle, attention. Now let's compare that short to the best performing short on my channel that hit almost 500,000 views.
Hello, Neo. I am the architect. I created the Matrix.
This short alone hit 489,000 views, has 7.3 thousand likes, and 578 comments. This meant one simple thing, that the video wasn't just good, it triggered algorithm expansion. This was insanely encouraging. It was the first time when I started seeing that it was possible to make breakthroughs with shorts that cover all of our metrics. So let's go over why this is the highest performing short on my channel. Metric 1, the hook. The title of this short is Neo meets creator of the Matrix. It's simple, it's clear, and it's also high stakes. It contains a recognizable character, a powerful concept, and a myth level of intrigue. The title also instantly implies revelation, truth, origins, with no mental effort required. The on-screen text reads, Architect tells Neo he is the sixth one. And to be honest, this is actually an even stronger text than the title. Why is that? Well, this on-screen text does 3 things. 1, it creates immediate curiosity. Most people remember the concept of the one, but might not remember the dialogue with the architect or creator of the Matrix. 2, 2, it reframes the scene. People watch, they read the text and think, wait, is that actually how it happened? Did I miss something important? The unanswered question pulls the viewer forward. And third, it creates tension or challenge. It's a video that says, you remembered this wrong, or it didn't happen the way you remember it. That's how you create a curiosity gap, which simply means that you withhold enough information to make someone need the answer. So remember, when you create a curiosity gap, you create a scroll stopper. For the thumbnail, we have Neo in dark glasses. It has a green coat background. He has a serious expression on his face. You can see the thumbnail is visually dramatic, it's cinematic, and it's instantly recognizable. And the situation looks important. Compare that to the Alex Hormozi short, where it looked more like a podcast clip, where this short looked more like a revelation scene. And that visual attention matters.
Hello, Neo. I am the architect. I created the Matrix.
Now, this opening line is hook gold. But why is it gold? Well, because of these few things. It's direct, meaning it immediately makes a massive statement. It's powerful. The character immediately claims control over the entire reality of the story. And it instantly raises the stakes. It's also identity driven. It challenges who Neo is and his role in the film, meaning is he really unique and one of a kind, or were there others like him? Now, let's zoom out for a second and see something important. Compare that to the opening line on our worst performing short.
How do you create value? People talk about the word value. They're like, provide value.
One starts with a lecture, the other rewrites reality. This hook gets a 5 out of 5. Number 2, topic clarity. Right off the bat, the topic is immediately clear. It's about a recognizable character. Needless to say, Matrix has a built-in massive fan base, a truth being revealed, the truth about the one, and a memorable movie moment. Viewers know immediately, I'm about to witness something important. Topic clarity is rated a 5 out of 5. Metric 3, emotional trigger. The real reason it performed well. Now, when it comes to emotional trigger, this short presses multiple triggers at once. It triggers mystery, identity crisis, revelation, power dynamic shift. The character in this video isn't explaining a concept, he's completely destroying a belief system. That's emotional tension. My channel thrives on belief disruption. It's almost the DNA of my niche and channel. The entire clip is structured around Neo and all of us believing he is unique, Architect telling him there have been others like him, and that he's number 6. That's a collapse of ego. My best performing shorts always attack an identity, challenge a belief, expose an illusion. This one is pure identity collapse. So it wasn't editing, it wasn't effort, it wasn't even the characters. It was identity and tension. So your videos don't need more effort, they need clearer emotional trigger. Emotional trigger gets a rating 5 out of 5. Metrics 4 and 5, swipe versus stay ratio. In the Alex Hormozi short, we got 33.8% of the viewers that stayed. In our Matrix short, 68.2% of the viewers stayed. That's almost double the immediate approval signal. That alone told YouTube this short is addictive because shorts scale off early velocity, and this one crushed the first test group. Now again, this is not cockiness, this is all just based off what the numbers show. Swipe versus stay ratio gets a 4 out of 5. Now here's the side-by-side comparison of the total ratings of each metric we use to judge the shorts. You can quickly see the difference in rating for both shorts. The Alex Hormozi short got a total rating of 10.5 out of 25, which is equivalent to 42% overall, and our Neo short gets a 23 out of 25, which equals 92% overall. The core difference between the two shorts. Alex Hormozi short explains a concept. The Matrix short reveals a truth. Concepts inform, but revelations spread. The algorithm rewards tension, not information. So here's the final breakdown summary, and here's why Neo Meets the Creator of the Matrix hit 500,000 views. It has immediate clarity, massive curiosity gap, strong emotional trigger, identity level stakes, cinematic visuals, perfect alignment between title, text, and opening, and also fits my audience psychology. The hook, immediate tension. The topic, crystal clear. And the emotion, it's conflict, stakes, and meaning. For a long time, I thought posting as much as I possibly can and just hope that one day a video goes viral was my strategy. But this proves something different. It's not about volume. It's about emotional clarity in the first 3 seconds. So if you're building a channel right now, don't get discouraged by the one that flops. The lesson inside it might be the thing that builds your breakthrough. Also, remember to fix your first 3 seconds. That's where low engagement ends and where everything begins. Thanks for watching, and be sure to look out for my 4th video dropping 2 weeks from now about YouTube Studio, where we'll be going over the importance of knowing how to read your video analytics and what you should be specifically looking at to understand your video's overall performance. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe on your way out. See you guys.